She shoved the papers across the marble counter as if she were slamming down a winning hand. "Sign or get out," she hissed, standing in the house I had paid for in cash, acting as though she owned it. I didn't argue. I didn't shout. I didn't even ask her why, after all these years. She was so quick to cut me loose. Instead, I took the pen, signed where she pointed, and placed the keys on the table. Her lips curled into a smirk, as if she had just won the war. But I knew better. Wars aren't won in moments of rage. They're won with silence, with patience, with traps laid long before the enemy even realizes a battlefield exists. I met her 10 years ago at a charity gala. She was breathtaking in a crimson dress, her laughter spilling like champagne over the crowd. I thought I was lucky. A man like me, steady, hardworking, deliberate, rarely collides with fire like that. Back then, she admired me for my discipline, my self-control. She used to say I was a fortress, and that she felt safe inside my walls. But fire doesn't want safety. Fire wants fuel. And once I stopped feeding it, she went searching elsewhere. I noticed the changes long before she thought I did. The late nights with friends, the sudden secrecy with her phone, the way she looked at me as though I were furniture, just something in the way. Then came the undeniable proof. A message she forgot to delete. His words, bold and reckless. "When he's gone, it's just us." Imagine the freedom. I didn't rage. I didn't confront. I simply closed the phone, set it back on the counter, and poured myself a drink. In that moment, love ended. But something colder, sharper took its place. The shift in me was surgical. I stopped being her husband. I became her executioner. The next morning, I called my lawyer. Not hers, mine. I had prepared for this years ago. Buried clauses in contracts, structured ownership in ways only I understood. The house, the cars, the accounts. Nothing was as it appeared. On paper, it looked like wealth. In reality, it was a fortress, one she had no map to. She thought she had leverage, believed that forcing me to sign or get out would shatter me. She didn't know I had already rerouted everything that mattered. The deed she waved in my face? A decoy. Drafted, notarized, but hollow. Signing it was nothing but theater. The real documents were locked away with my attorney, alongside evidence of her affair. Insurance. Ammunition. I walked out that night lighter than I had in years. Not broken, not lost. Free. The next morning, her phone must have exploded with calls. I imagine her sitting at the kitchen table, sipping her expensive coffee, basking in what she thought was victory, until her so-called elite lawyer shattered the illusion. I wasn't there, but I can picture it. His voice rising, panicked, furious. "Do you have any idea what you just let him do?" She didn't. But in that moment, the ground beneath her cracked. Here's what she never understood. That house, paid in cash, yes, but not in my name. It was held in a trust I'd set up before I ever met her. She had no legal claim. Those accounts she thought she would inherit? Drained and redirected months earlier. She was left with smoke. The car she flaunted around town like a trophy? Leased under a shell company, I dissolved the moment I signed her papers. The repo man was likely already on his way, while her lawyer screamed into the phone. And the affair, documented, time-stamped, witnessed. Enough to erase any sympathy she might have hoped for in court. Her world collapsed, not with a bang, but with the quiet click of locks sliding shut, one after another. Doors closing, assets vanishing, friends drifting, every exit sealed. And me? I didn't need to gloat. I didn't need to call her. I let silence finish what I started. She had demanded I sign, so I did. She demanded I leave, so I walked. She thought she had cornered me. But all she did was step into the trap I had built years before she betrayed me. She wanted freedom. What she got was emptiness. And I got the sweetest satisfaction. Not in taking revenge, but in watching her destroy herself with her own arrogance. I often think back to that moment I left the keys on the counter. How final the sound was, the click of metal against stone. She thought it meant loss. She thought it meant defeat. But really, it was the sound of me unshackling myself. Now, She wakes every day in a house that isn't hers, driving a car that isn't hers, drowning in debts that aren't mine. And I walk lighter. Colder, maybe, but free. Because revenge isn't about rage. Rage burns out fast. Revenge is patience, calculation, silence. It's letting them believe they've won until they realize you were never even playing the same game. And the best part? I didn't just walk away. I left her standing in the ruins she built herself.